A lot of people are speaking nowadays about friends. They're talking to you about this as if now it is the most important resource one can have. Friendship is very important to be had, but the question is, what is actually friendship? See, mass media is presenting you a very weird and distorted idea of friendship. What you're seeing there in most situations is just a name and a picture. You don't know who's actually behind those. Might as well be President Vladimir Putin or anyone else. It's just a name and a picture. You never know what's behind that anime portrait or the such. I recently found out that one of the TikTok accounts, the very few that was following mine, was actually one of my best friends. But I couldn't know because, well, he has one name and one picture on Discord, one name and one picture somewhere else, so, well, I couldn't have figured out. But a friendship remains a friendship. Now, what is exactly that people call friendship? See, in a world of copium where people are, well, convinced of the fact that they're not worthy of much and they simply give up on life itself, they will always seek the least bit of attention that they can get, at least. Once they become comfortable with that, well, they will become the next generation of deviants that are populating a big part of this planet. People who just have given up on anything, they're willingly gonna give up on anyone or anything for a bit of attention. And, well, once they become family, they will easily bully their children in order to obtain their attention and, well, to feed their necessity for pain. Yes? This is an unfortunate reality for many people within humanity, let's call it so, as a race. Now, if we think a bit, a friend ultimately should someone should be someone who can understand you beyond your necessities, especially beyond your copium, because a lot of people deal with this concept of investing their energies into dreaming about something and excessively expecting that something regarding that dream will come true. Only action will decide whether something you dream of will become true because life goes on, whether you keep dreaming or not. That's a good point in a way, because a dream is nothing else but the engine, the spark, actually, that fires up the engine. But action is what fuels the engine. Yes? A dream is only an ignition of something. People end up dreaming way too much. And with friends, it's kind of the same thing. When you look at a lot of the people, they have thousands probably of friends on social media, but there is no communication, or at least not much. In many situations, we end up just with a few friends, but what we do with those friends is usually minimal. In many situations, just watch some movies, do a few activities together, but even in many of those situations, there doesn't seem to be much emotion spent at all. Now, when it comes to a friend, someone who can understand you beyond your capabilities, someone who can see you beyond what you think you are, someone preferably who also thinks otherwise than you, may be a good pick. If it were for me, one such human would definitely be a keeper. Well, I'm yet to find one, but in the end, not all your friends will be gurus, and well, a guru is definitely not your friend. They are just most likely a way towards liberation, but they're not gonna play any role in your life. They're not gonna be anything else but the reality itself. They're not gonna be your lost parent or the parent you never had. They're not gonna be that perfect friend. They're just gonna guide you towards liberation, and it's gonna suck because discovering truths about yourself is gonna be painful. Similarly, friends who are not afraid of telling things about you and who will tell them up front, well, those things, those situations, they can easily be someone who's trying to abuse you in a way, or they can be the real deal. In the end, it's up to everyone to determine what friend means, because friend is not a simple concept, it is a social construct. It is something that people will believe in whatever they think will fit the definition. Some people are just obsessed about attention, so friend is any prey that can give them attention. Yes, don't forget this sick society simply excels at using emotions against you, and it thrives on consuming attention because that's what a vampiric entity does. That's what narcissism does. Because all this social media was designed only to feed the narcissism of this sick society, right? You're just feeding into it with all the attention that you have. And a lot of friends typically will kind of seek more or less this. In a sick society where there's billions of people on the planet, everyone is feeling more or less alone. And in this loneliness, many people still don't know how to handle it, how to embrace it as a gift. Because in loneliness, one can find out a lot of answers about themselves. But the point is, they prefer embracing the easiest side, and then they embrace one of the plethora of the monsters that this society can breed. Because if you can't handle your own emotions, you're gonna make a whole hell, a living hell out of your mind. And once you make that, the more you feed into the mind, the more it will produce, because that is what the mind is. Yes? But whom among your friends can actually tell you that? Many of them, unfortunately, are born in the same sick society that you are as well. So typically, when one knows something, the others will know not much beyond. And with a lot of people simply embracing the mundane, they will kind of become what their parents have been. The next generation of people who will sink their entire energy into the, let's say, sea of misery. Let's put it so. So, when surrounded by all these people, being alone is always a must, sooner or later, at least for a bit. But the point is, you're gonna drown in the misery as well. There are people who call themselves also all sorts of titles. In the end, I'm not interested in their titles, whether they consider themselves gods, or whether they consider themselves witches, or whether they consider themselves wise or not. The personality is not something that ever interests me much, because a personality is something that you can easily play with. The cores of someone are far more important because that is what karmically represents you, or specifically in this life, what is gonna be mostly influencing you, whether it's gonna push you towards becoming the new generation of ignorance, or whether it's gonna push you towards become someone who's actually gonna do something for themselves, for their own life, because we all have certain hidden talents. It's just that it's easy to simply give them up and live with the copium that you don't have anything special and just victimize, hoping that one day some deity will save you from your misery, right? God will never move one finger to save you from your pathetic misery. Look at all the billions of people that have been before you, and look at the people who surround you. They're all miserable, they're all crying, and it doesn't matter what religion they believe in. If you take a better look at them, I don't think God will ever move a finger to make their lives better. So, if God themselves don't do that much of a thing in their almightiness and all greatness that everyone is talking about, why would you want to bother? Your life is much shorter, and some people simply are not meant to be saved in the end. Don't call such people friends because they're just gonna be like leeches. If you have a certain talent and you're aware of it, then keeping it wholly for yourself is much better than presenting it for the others. Working towards it, working towards becoming known, will be a much better priority than embracing the wrong friends. Because even when you become famous, you're still gonna be somewhat lonely. It's quite lonely there at the top. But at least when you have influence, you can make better use of your talent than simply try to elevate a few primitive bozos that will not take into account anything you say. They will only make use of you to further their ignorance. Because once you soothe an ignorant, they will embrace their ignorance even more. You have to understand, in most situations when you want to help miserable people, you're just a poison to society. Because soothing the miserable will in many situations make them even more comfortable, because now not only are they victimizing, but they're also receiving free help, right? So the question comes, when you're surrounded by such people and you end up actually needing the help, you will be met most likely with the quote, may God help you, because none of those fuckers will ever give you any bit of attention. You're not worthy anything to their existence, because they don't value their existence in the first place. So take care when it comes to friends and invest time into studying them. Are they willing to change, or will they be doing the same shit 10 years in the future? These are things that one has to take into account. All this being said, hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated, take care, enjoy life, and this being said, Ferinjan Board signing out.